All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk to you about HUT, stock ticker HUT. They put out their monthly operational report for the month of August. They are a Bitcoin mining company. I want to go through their results. We cover Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. So if that's content that you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it really helps out in the algorithm a lot, and it gets this video out to more people. So help us spread the word. We're trying to increase awareness about the Bitcoin mining industry because these stocks are beaten down drastically. Those of you who trade in this sector, you know. Those of you who may be new to this sector, I think there's massive opportunity. Again, this is not financial advice, but these are stocks that have been beaten down anywhere from 80 to 90% still at this point. And a lot of these companies are performing quite well. Okay, so for starters, HUT is trading at about $1.85. This is in US dollars on the NASDAQ. All of the Bitcoin miners are down a bit, so they're down about 2.8%. I don't think that's a reflection of their production update because I thought the production update was actually a very positive thing. It's just all the Bitcoin miners happen to be down at this time in the day today, and these are very volatile stocks, so there's no telling where they'll end the day. But at the moment, that leaves them with a market cap of $357 million. At its peak in November, so that was November 8th, that's when Bitcoin was at its all-time high. This was over a $2 billion market cap company. So you can see what I mean by the fact that these companies have been beaten down drastically. This went from over $2 billion to $350 million. So even as recently as August, which was just 1 month ago, this company's market cap was almost double what it is today. So again, this is a very beaten down stock. We will circle back around to that later and talk about exactly what that means. For now, let's get to the operational update. Okay, HUT mining production and operations update for August 2022. So the top line, 375 Bitcoin mined, bringing reserve to 8,111. Both of those are all-time records for HUT. So if I look at their highlights, production highlights for August 2022, 375 Bitcoin were generated, resulting in an average production rate of approximately 12.1 Bitcoin per day. So all of those are records for HUT. So this was their best month. Okay, so just to spend a minute on the previous month, because there is one thing that's happened here, and I want to go through this closely. So in the previous month, they generated 330 Bitcoin. The second bullet point you'll see says our Ethereum mining, for which we receive payment in Bitcoin, that generated approximately 10.7% of the total production. So there are other companies that are much more dependent on this. HUT bought these machines, they've more than paid for themselves, and as of July, they represented 10.7% of the total amount of Bitcoin mined. So then you'll also see in the July update, which was last month, they say installed operating capacity was 2.92 exahash per second at the end of the month. So I want to go back to this month because they now have changed that language. They now say installed ASIC hash rate capacity was 2.98 exahash per second at the end of the month, which excludes certain legacy miners that the company anticipates will be fully replaced by the end of the year. In July, whereas about 10.7% of that exahash was in GPUs mining Ethereum, getting paid in Bitcoin, they're now just reporting their ASIC hash rate. Now, the ASICs obviously mine Bitcoin alone. I am going to extend an invitation to Sue Ennis, of course, back onto the channel, and Jamie Leverton, if she's interested as well, and talk about this because it looks to me like they've already accounted for the transition out of Ethereum, but I would love some clarification from them directly. So I am going to try to get them back on the channel, hopefully in the next week or two, and see if they'll help clarify some of these details for us. So again, installed ASIC hash rate capacity was 2.98 exahash per second. That is an all-time record for them. So they have continued to improve month over month in all of these categories. All of these numbers in August represent their best numbers yet. HUT produced 125.8 Bitcoin per exahash in August. Okay, so if we look at the month of July, this was last month by Bitcoin miner. And of course, we're only just now starting to get the August production reports. So when they are all in, I will update this report for the month of August. But you'll see in July, HUT was at 113 per exahash. These top tier miners were in the 130s, between 131 and 138. So HUT improved to just under 126. So that was a decent improvement in their efficiency as well. So they really did make improvements really across the board in everything that they're doing. The difficulty level did increase in September. So we're going to see how all of these companies do in September. Our team delivered very strong results across our mining and high performance infrastructure business in August, positioning us well for continued success, said Jamie Leverton, CEO. We continue to receive and install our monthly shipments of new MicroBT miners on time while actively adding to the suite of services we offer at our data center customers. So as we've talked about in the past, they have two now streams of income. So they take their Bitcoin from mining and they are still in a 100% hodl position. But one of the things that allows them to do that, they have the high computing business, which technically is unrelated. And as a result of that, that is generating cash flow. So that's one of the mitigating factors that helps them pay their bills and still hodl 100% of their Bitcoin. So at 8,111 Bitcoin, that is the second most Bitcoin on any balance sheet of all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners. Marathon has more. However, Hut 8 has the most self-mined Bitcoin out of any Bitcoin miner that's publicly traded by far. Because remember, Marathon bought about 4,500 Bitcoin last year, whereas for Hut 8, all 8,000 of these are self-mined. Just a couple of slides from their most recent investor presentation. It does not include this update press release that was issued today. So by the numbers, 7,736 total self-mined. We now know that that's 8,111. The 2.92 exahash is now 2.98 exahash, and then the projected year end is 3.5. So far they have not announced any new plans. They dialed that back. They were looking to get to 6 exahash by the end of the year. They want to be more opportunistic. They do think better, cheaper opportunities are going to present themselves, and they talked about the fact that they're actively looking on both sides of their business for opportunities to grow inorganically. So the 3.5 exahash is going to be the organic growth. They've already bought all those machines to get from 2.98 to 3.5. They've been very opportunistic, and that is a word that Jamie likes to use. That leads me to the last slide I want to show you in their investor package. Okay, so this is what they're saying their business model is. So 100% of their ASICs will go towards mining Bitcoin. But the traditional data center model is essentially, on the average, 60% of the capacity is used for clients and therefore revenue generating, and 40% of the capacity is idle. So this is at your standard traditional data center. At Hut 8, what they're saying is we don't need to do that because we have a mining business. We can take our 60% for our clients, and if it's more, obviously then it's more. But the real point of this, instead of having this 40% idle, they have a lot of other things they can use this for, including mining of different coins. So they say self-mining, Web 2.5, Web 3.0 infrastructure support 40% versus idle data 40%. So although they're unrelated businesses, this is where they intersect. So there is synergy here. Okay, let's switch over to their chart and see how the stock is doing. All right, this is Hut 8 on the one-day time frame. So basically this goes back to a peak back here in March. If you remember, we had a nice relief rally in March for about 2 or 3 weeks. Bitcoin got all the way back up to $48,000. At that time, Hut's stock price got up to $6.70. So it's obviously come way down since then. It bottomed out at around July 5th, which is about when all of these Bitcoin miners bottomed. So that got as low as $1.28. It then went on a very big run. We had another nice relief rally, basically in July and the first half of August. So you can see during that relief rally, Hut's stock went up 191%. So that's one of the things I like to reiterate about these Bitcoin miners. That's why I want to get everybody informed on this industry. I think there's a massive lack of understanding of what these Bitcoin miners do and what the potential upside is. Now, they're extremely volatile, so obviously this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy Hut 8, but I do think everybody should have a company like this on their watch list and understand how it works. So they had a 7 or 8 week run where they were up 191%. Conversely, in the last 3 weeks now, their stock price has had a massive pullback. So you'll see it is just under 50% down. So it's approximately, depending on which point in the day I use today, it was down 50% over the last 3 weeks. I have not bought any recently, but it is now starting to get towards levels that are very interesting for me. So again, this is not financial advice. I'm not advising you guys to buy this, but if you're a Hut 8 enthusiast, this 50% pullback definitely is providing some opportunity. And you can see from going through their operational update, this is a company that's performing very well in my opinion. So I do think there's a lot more upside than downside here. there's still over 30% downside left. So there is the potential for that to happen. We need to see where Bitcoin is going. If Bitcoin fails to get back on track and revisits its lows, it's possible that these miners will revisit their lows. You know, there may be 32% more to the downside just to get back to their previous low, and it's not impossible that they would take out that low and potentially even hit a lower low. Having said that, if you're like me and you're a long-term investor, then, you know, I have a strong belief in HUT and Bitcoin in the long term. I am bullish on those, on both of those. So to me, those would represent more buying opportunities. But again, this is not financial advice. So the downside looks like around 32%. The first upside I want to get to is where they were just 3 weeks ago. So if they can just get back to where they were 3 weeks ago, they're going to double. That's up 100%. So that's an extremely reasonable price target for a 30 or 60 or 90-day window if Bitcoin can get a little bit healthy. Remember, Bitcoin only got up to 25,000 in that relief rally. So, you know, if Bitcoin could approach that again, I do think HUT would get back to these numbers, you know, potentially anytime in 90 days or less. Okay, last thing I'm going to look at is their highs back in late March. That was about 5 months ago now. And remember, Bitcoin had a nice relief rally all the way up to $48,000. So if HUT 8 was to revisit that price, that would be a 265% increase in the price of their stock. To me, this is more of a 1 or 2 year realistic price target. And I don't think Bitcoin needs to get all the way back to 48,000 in order for HUT to get to this, because they are a growing company. If Bitcoin were to get healthy and maybe make a run at the mid 30s, you know, 35,000, in my opinion, this would be a realistic 1 or 2 year price target. So again, these are just my opinions. This is not financial advice. You guys have to do your own risk reward analysis on this. You can see these are ultra volatile stocks, so please be careful while investing. That's what I got for you on HUT 8, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.